Hey guys, Mike here. Hope everyone had a good weekend, and we got a big week ahead with a boatload of earnings. Some of the Mag 7 will be reporting this week, as well as some economic data, which I think will be put on the back burner because earnings are going to take precedence here. So there'll be some big moves, but we're going to go over a couple things in this video. One is how long hedge funds are in the NASDAQ 100. We haven't seen this number in a very long time. Two, something that has never happened in the history of the stock market again. Been saying it for 2.5 years, a year of first. I guess it's a 4-year window of first or something, but always something new happening. And then we'll go into some stocks to watch out for, because if this momentum from Friday continues and it pushes up, I guess I should say Thursday and Friday, then we could absolutely see these stocks make big moves, because this is kind of how they move. Now, starting off with the hedge funds longs in the 100 futures, we hadn't seen this in 8 years. Look at this level right here. And so, yep, that is definitely bullish. Anything above the zero line is considered bullish. Obviously, below is the sellers and stuff. And it looks like, what, since 2000, maybe that's the end of 2016, I guess you could say. And so they're definitely long in that. And then look at this right here. Never seen this before. You got the S&P sitting at all-time highs. The Qs are sitting at all-time highs. The Dow continues to set all-time highs. And then look at that IWM setting down, even with that rally on Friday, down more than 20%, which is, for that index, the Russell 2000, a bear market, right? So we've never had a bull market on one setting all-time highs, and then another one setting like this in a bear market, right? But it tells you the difference in what's happening right now, right? With the Mag 7, remember the Russell 2000 don't have a Mag 7, and at least 1/3 of them don't even have like profits or anything, or unprofitable and everything like that. I mean, they're just a mess, right? And a lot of zombie companies created over the years and stuff. And so, we'll see how this plays out. But again, a lot of bets going into the Russell. Why? Because it is one of those undervalued ones, right? I mean, you got these other ones that are like nosebleeds up here, and people are like, oh boy. And then here's these other ones down here, like the Russell, and a lot of stocks in there, which I've showed you. I mean, you never guess some of those stocks we were on the Russell, right? That their trend has actually been up, right? Almost the whole year. They just don't, again, the Russell 2000 is weighted so differently, okay? And so I think it's SMCI, which is just killing it. Look at that thing. It's up massive. But because it only accounts for like 1%, 1.7 or something, the way the Russell is, it barely makes a dent, right? If the Russell was weighted like the S&P and like the Qs, for like SMCI was like 6% of it, you would have seen a much bigger move coming up, but it's just not. And so it's harder for it to move. And so we'll see again if Tom Lee's prediction comes true of like 50% return to some crazy mess, 3,000 plus on the Russell 2000. We'll see if that happens. Okay. Now S&P obviously hitting all-time highs, right? And you can see this is 8 and 21 moving average. You can pull up any moving average you want, but right now the RSI looks good. The MACD is getting the bullish cross on and everything. And that's why we got to see if this momentum is going to continue to push up now, because usually when you hit all-time highs, flows will start to move in now, right? And so when we pull up here, and I'm going to play around with this a little bit, but it's a trend fib extension right here. And you can see, 1.618 and then the 2 right there, what levels they're at and everything. And so we'll see if we can hit 489 and 494. So let's keep those levels in mind now. And guys, before we continue, if you can please hit that like button, that little thumbs up down there, helps people find the video, helps out the channel. And if you like down-to-earth content, talking about the financial markets, don't try to talk over your head, then think about subscribing. Starting off with Tesla here, you can see this one right here reports on Wednesday, right after this huge downtrend. Again, looking at this one, oversold on the RSI, sitting there with the MACD below the zero. Looks like maybe getting a turn right there, because it did come down to 207, 205 to 207 really is where you look at some kind of support right there, which we'll go into in just a minute. But again, going to the shorter term time frames, just keep an eye on those levels. That's the prior days low, prior days high, which it loves to break and bounce off of and stuff. So you're looking anywhere from 207 to around 214 right there is where we'll see. And again, we have to figure out in pre-market where we're going to start and everything. Because this one right here, the first thing you're looking for is call volume, right? And when we look for call sweeps, that's what you've seen in NVIDIA, Meta, Apple, right? And you saw what happened to those stocks last week. Well, you hadn't seen that here, okay? And so, again, a lot of people are selling those calls. They're getting more premium now the farther it falls. But you can see, like, 205-ish right there. That's pretty key, 206.05, whatever the exact number is. But right in that area, that's going to be key. And, again, moving up, you can see all those gaps. Good Lord, it was a rough couple weeks here. It's below its 200-week moving averages, its daily moving averages. It is going to be an interesting move up for sure. And put in the bottom what you think is going to happen. What do you think is going to happen in earnings? Because I tried to find something similar going into earnings being this far oversold and stuff. And really, there's just no rhyme or reason to it. And you can see this is the quarterly revenues in millions since the inception date. And you can see really 2022, you're right there. Obviously, in 2023, we don't have fourth quarter yet. You would think we're definitely going to eclipse that. So even with, that's what's crazy, even with China being a disaster pretty much and things slowing down around the globe, it's still putting out there. It's just the margins of what the market's really more worried about than anything else because of all the price cutting and stuff. And EVs just having trouble right now with demand, and a lot of the other companies are putting out. Now, Apple, obviously, as the market goes, Apple goes off this bounce off of 200. Here's 8 and 21. It's about to get across on that probably coming up, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday if that happens. Normally you get anywhere from a 2 to 5% pop. Sometimes they're obviously much larger, and so we got to keep an eye on that one because obviously this is moving up. You can see right above there, not very far away, is all-time highs, about 4% away from all-time highs. And you can see it got a bullish MACD cross down at the bottom. RSI is above 50. So obviously if Apple's going up, the market's going up with it, right? Now watch these stocks right here because they can have some big moves. The way some of these move, some of them don't, but such like Shop, for example, right? So if this one right here starts to move, watch around 81, 84, somewhere in that level. You can see the volume at the bottom. So, this one had such a large move up, finally had, kind of selling room down. So that would be a nice move up. And when you pull out and you pull up the fib retracement and everything, you look at the MACD, on the hourly, shorter term time frames, looking good. And then when you look over here, that's what I'm saying. If this thing goes back above that zero line, and obviously the RSI is already crossing that 50 right there, then this is one of those high flyer type stocks. It's been a very popular one. I mean, this is one, no doubt, big money's been piling into this one, pushing it up. And we pull up, from the top to the bottom of that last run, it's setting, bouncing right off that 50 Fibonacci level at this point in time. So keep an eye on that one for sure. This week, I think a lot of bullish bets are going into that one if the momentum continues. PayPal we know about. Obviously, this right here had a huge move up the last 3 days, really, but it hit that trend line right there, which has been resistance support in the past. On the hourly, definitely overbought. The MACD was extremely extended on the hourly. But, when we switch over to the daily and stuff, you can see it's kind of a different deal, right? I mean, you got a bullish MACD cross down at the bottom. It's above the zero line. You got that big gap above right there, as you can see. So if it gets in there, do I expect a straight move through it? Normally that doesn't happen. Usually you move up and then you'll get rejected around the 50% move into it and then start to and continue to move up. But do I expect to close it around 72 as the top? Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, look at the volume. Like huge amounts of volume going into this one. You have a huge 3-day move. So, I mean, again, it's got to get through that trend line first. We'll see how this plays out, see if they continue to push it. If momentum continues next week for the market, then yes, I think that's going to happen for sure. Disney, we ain't talked about in a while, but it really looks like it's been basing out right there around that $90 mark, getting that rounding bottom right there. MACD, believe it or not, still above the zero line, getting a bullish MACD cross. And when you look, what's held it up? That 200. It's just been riding that 200. That is bullish, right? And now it's riding the 50 up. So you got a 50 crossing the 200 on your daily right there. And so watch out for Disney. It reports coming up here on February 7th. So it's got about 3 weeks right there. But also it's kind of like PayPal where it has this big gap that hadn't filled in a long time above it, which could take you all the way to $100. So keep an eye on that one for sure. And something else to keep an eye on coming this week, look at your really risky stocks. These are the ones that are highly, highly shorted, right? And they have these mega moves and these mega crashes, okay? Watch these right here. I'm doing a whole members video on this coming out Tuesday and stuff, talking about this and certain things that these confirm and deny and all this stuff when it comes to the market. But watch these. They had a big day Friday. And when you get these highly shorted stocks moving, they can give you a very good idea where the market is heading. Because one thing it means is it's risk on, right, baby? And again, I'll be doing a detailed video on that one for the members, but for a reason when I'm looking at the research, looking at the charts and stuff. And so, it's one of those things where these had a big day Friday. Is that going to continue? That's what we're going to see. So, I mean, I have a whole list of these just by themselves. And if you see these go green, that could probably tell you something. Now, when it comes to earnings, man, it is loaded. We are back in earnings seasons for sure. And you can see coming up Monday, obviously, I think a lot of people watch United Airlines, listen about traveling and stuff. Are we still traveling? Then you have a lot more banks reporting, regional banks and stuff like that. Tuesday, Verizon Wireless, 3M, I mean, pretty much you name it, like all these stocks, Johnson & Johnson, RTX, P&G, all that good stuff. One thing we're going to find out is a lot about the consumer this week for sure. Then you have Netflix, Texas Instruments. Then Wednesday you'll have AT&T, ASML, and then in the afternoon there is Tesla after hours. Again, put your prediction on that one. Also put your prediction for Netflix, because I would think they would do really good because they got those ads they put in there and stuff. Now Thursday you'll end up with, again, American Airlines, Alaska Airlines, Southwest. We'll know a lot about the travel. Humana, Valero. And then in the afternoon, Intel, Visa. Visa seems to always do good. I mean, that company right there is a fortress, right? Levi's, Capital One. And then, of course, Friday, you have American Express. And again, a lot of regional banks reporting on that one. When it comes to economic data, if we look over here, you're going to sit there on Monday. Not a whole lot of anything. I mean, I don't think that's going to, the CB leading index is going to do much. You will have people listen on Tuesday, the Richmond Manufacturing Index. And then Wednesday, a lot more manufacturing and service data will come out with the PMI. So I think that right there, the market should care about that. It's actually after the market opens, so you could see a move there. Thursday, unemployment claims are going to come out, along with some GDP data, new home sales. And then on Friday, it's going to be loaded with core PCE, personal income, personal spending, which still seems to be holding up. And then pending home sales, which, we'll see if we get a pop in that or not. Again, it's at a standstill right now, where people that live in the homes existing aren't doing anything. The only thing really getting bought up are new homes right now. And so we'll see if people are still canceling, actually going through now that the rates have dropped, even though the prices really in most areas haven't dropped that much. And then, of course, what's really, I think, shocking for most people, we're coming out of Christmas and all the holidays and everything. So we'll see if sales are still holding up right now. And because, there are places that are dropping prices because demand was starting to wane. And remember that before, that's what was holding it up. It was like, oh, look, sales are up. It's like, yeah, because the prices are so much higher, right? And so now we'll kind of get to see as companies start to decrease prices, if that actually has an effect, and sales start to look like junk, like most other stuff. So we'll have to find out on that one. So anyway, let me know what you think about the earnings on Netflix, Tesla, how you think the week's going to go, if the momentum you think is going to continue, because it was very strong. But again, it was a big OPEX. Okay, so we have seen that before. And then took a cooler on the next couple of days going forward. But again, we'll find out. So I'll be here all week. I'll try to get as much earnings stuff as I can together for you as they report, at least the major ones and stuff. And if you like to hear about that stuff, I know I put it in the morning news brief every morning for the members as it comes out and stuff. So anyway, I hope you guys got something out of this. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Think about sharing the video. Appreciate all you who watch, and I hope you have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.